So after 10.5, we started using this dot hyper, and which is 3 times faster than 3D. So now let's see how to create dot 3D or dot hyper. So let's go to worksheet and just right click on this and click on extract data. So here you can refresh. I mean, you can extract the entire data. Let's say if you have 100 rows, that 100 rows will get extracted. But if you do a incremental refresh, so what happens in case of incremental refresh? Incremental refresh. Suppose you have existing data, you have 100 records, and the new data in database you have some 50 odd records. So when you do full refresh, full extract refresh, so Tableau will refresh entire data, like it will uh, take it from 0 to 150. But in case of incremental refresh, so it will only, so existing data is already there, which is 100, and it will not touch the existing data, and new data only it will add into the Tableau. So that way it will only give you 50 records. So 100 records, which is already there. So 100 plus 50, it becomes 150 again. So in that way, it will take the less amount of time to extract the data. So we can choose how to identify these 50 rows. So these 50 rows which are new. So that is based on the date column, or that is based on any column which has the new values. So here we can see, we click on this. So here we have table to select and identify new rows. So based on the order date. So let's say if we have data till 2023 January. So this will have, let's say, 2023 February. So it will not touch these 100 records. It will only refresh. It will only add new 50 records. So in case of real-time data, let's say you have 1 million records, and you got extra 5 lakh records. So those records you just want to add. So in that way, the consumption of time will be less in case of incremental refresh. So we have, as we have only 10,000 records, we can do a full refresh. So let's click on extract. So here we can see dot hyper. So it's a sample superstore data. Let me save this in desktop. So I will show you how that data is getting saved. So this will store only the data part. So it's a Tableau extract, and this is saved in dot hyper format. So this is saved in dot hyper format, that is called as Tableau extract. So this will only have the data in it, and so there are ways that we can connect to. So let's go to desktop. Yeah, so in this way also we can connect. So this will contain the data. So if you want to access any dot hyper files, so you can directly connect to those files. Okay, so depending on the version, the extract was created in Tableau extract files can have either hyper or .td. So .td is the older version's extension. So this is the new one. Extract files are a local copy or subset of entire data, so that you can use to share data with others when you need to work offline and improve performance. So this data, so that I have connected to, so this is a sample superstore data, but in case of Oracle or SQL, so if users might not have access to the databases. So in that case, what we do, we create this data files and all, and we provide these data files, or we connect to these extracts and send the data to the users so that they can access this particular sample superstores data or any table data that they want to see. And now we have .tds and .tdsx. .tds. So .tds is nothing but Tableau data source. .tdsx. Tableau data source extract. So Tableau data source, it stores connection details. But Tableau data source extract, it also stores connection details plus data. So wherever there you see this X, that means it is storing the data. So X is nothing but extract. So now we'll see how this is storing the data. It's storing the connection details. So let me connect to an Excel file. Okay. So okay. So if you save it as add to save data sources, so you will see two options, TDS and TDSX. Let me save it in desktop. Tableau TDS format. So one, I will save it in TDS format, and go to add to save data sources, TDSX format. Hello, can you hear me? Yeah, sorry, got disconnected. I'm sharing my screen again. Okay. So what we were discussing, TDSX. So did you were you there till TDS and TDSX files? Oh. So to create TDS and TDSX, so you just need to go to add to save data sources. So in this way, we can create TDS and TDSX files. So now let's go to those locations. So let me open those files. TDS format. So basically, it is there in my system, so it will show you the data. So in case of others, so you don't see the data. So if I share this file with anybody, they will not be able to see the data. but as this stored in my local PC, so I'm able to see the data. So I'll just click on edit data source and click on edit connection. So it will show me the location of the file that is there. So that is nothing but the connection details. In case of servers, what will happen? So it will show you that information. Let's say if I connect to Microsoft SQL Server, so it will show you the server name, the user, and what all details that are needed. That will show you. So you password it won't show you. It will show you till database name, server, username. Those information will be stored in SQL Server. So TDS will store connection details. TDSX will store connection details plus data. And the difference between TDS or TDSX and dot hyper. So TDSX will have connection details plus data, but hyper will have only data. So that won't store the connection details. So let's say if I open that file, or let me create a hyper extension, create an extract, click on extract, hyper format. Okay, so if I open that file, okay, so so for this also I have connected to the same Excel, but if I click on this, so it is going to the hyper file only. So it is not showing me the where exactly the Excel file. So if you see, I have connected to the Excel file which is there in D drive. So basically that is the connection detail. So if you go to a hyper extension and you click on edit connection, this is going to the same file which you connected to, but not the original source file, which is Excel file that you are not able to see. That means hyper format will not store any connection information. It will store the data, whatever records which are there in that particular Excel file at that point of time. So it will store that information only, but not the connection details. But in case of dot TDS and dot TDSX, if you click on edit connection, so this will take you to the file location. So dot TDS will store the connection details. So if you share this file with anybody, it will also go to the same D drive. So if the users have this file, they can connect to this file and they can see the data. And TDSX format, it will store the connection details as well as the file, as well as to the data. So that is the main difference between hyper and dot TDSX. Yeah. So Tableau data source files. So that is resembled as dot TDS. Data source files are shortcuts for quickly connecting to the original data that you use often. So data source files do not contain the actual data, but rather the information necessary to connect to the actual data. So it will have the information of how to connect to that data. Like if you have Oracle data, so it will show you the information. So if you have the username and password, so it will show you exact location, exact schema, and exact table name, everything it will show you. And yeah, if you have made on top of the actual data, such as changing default properties, creating calculation field, so on. So .tdsx. So wherever you see extra x, that means it's a package data source. Tableau package data source files have the TDSX file extension. So a package data source is a zip file that contains a data source file, and also it will have the local file data information, which is stored as extract files. So use this format to create a single file that you can use to share it with others. So if you are connecting to any TDSX or TWBX, that means you want to share it with users, or if you want to share the files, then you need to save it in .tdsx or .twbx formats, so that they will have access to the data as well. So that is about .hyper, .tde, .tdsx. Okay, now let's talk about how to create calculation fields. So I'll just create simple calculations. Well, let me click on this subcategory, double click on this subcategory and create a calculation field. So I'll write the calculation for profit margin. If sum of sales divided by sum of profit. So this is one calculation. Profit margin. Yeah, so that information I could see here, and I can convert this into a bar chart as well. So whatever is in positive direction, I want to color it in a different way. I'll put this in color. Yeah. Red and green you can select. So if you select two steps, okay, positive will be in green color and negative will be in the red color. Or you can write a calculation field also for that. So if you have, if profit margin is greater than 0, then good, else bad. So these are some of the calculations that we can write. So these are some of the calculations that we can write with Tableau. So mostly we use if and case statements. So this is nothing but color condition. So instead of using that the profit margin, you can put this color condition in the color. So basically it also shows the same thing. So good, you can color it in green, bad in that color. Like this we can make. Yeah. So basically we use calculation fields to create new columns. So let's say if you go to the sample superstore, the color condition that I created now, the color condition created now will be as a column in the data. So you need to check which table we have created. Color condition. Just right click here, view data. Yeah. So you can see color condition is created as a column in our database like this. So that's how we can create different columns. So this new calculated field is saved to your data source in Tableau and can be used to create different visualizations. So it won't impact your data. So we are just creating new columns which won't impact your data. So your data remains untouched. So to segment the data, we use it, and to convert the data type of a field, such as converting string to a date. So yeah, we'll see how we can segment the data. So now we just have created. So by using color condition, I have, or I can just say, if I make it blue, yeah. So I have separated this subcategory details with good and bad information. So I have segmented this data with bad and good information. So that by writing some if else statement, so I can divide this subcategory information. So that is one. And to convert the data type of a field, such as converting a string to a date. So sometimes in the data that we create, it won't be in the right format. So let's say if we open this assignment 1 file, so we have a date which is in the format of August 2020, September 2020, October. So this is not in a proper format. So Tableau won't identify it as a date field. Let's write new date. Okay, and we'll save this and go to Tableau and refresh the assignment file. So you can see new date. Or you can just copy these things. Control C. So control, you can just directly paste the data. So that information is stored in clipboard and you can directly paste it here. Okay, new date is also showing there. Okay, let's write something else. So they have updated it seems. So even that is coming in a format. Let's say if we have 01 2022 02 01 2022 03. So now this is not in a proper format. Let's copy this. Yeah. So new date that we have created. So this is not in a proper format. So now what we will do. So to convert this into date format, we need to use some calculations. So now let's take new date. So this is coming as a number. So now so we don't want that to be a number. So let's make a duplicate and make it as a string. Or create calculation field. Type strf. So this is in real time, we will have data something like this that we need to convert into R format. Yeah. So these are the two line items which I have created. So now I want to split it. So calculation one. So I don't have this in a proper format. So I will create so there is a function called date parse. So you can type in. So there are number of functions that are available here. So these are the functions that you can use, and you will know in which format that is entered in. So we can convert those many formats here. So you need to mention in which format the data is there, and you want that to be converted into a date. So now let's convert. So now let's convert this data into date format. So it's in dd d dot y and mm. So basically 01, I have mentioned it as day, and 2022 is year, and month is 02. And which column I want to convert? Calculation one. Say apply. So this is a date format. And say apply. So that is not coming because 01 is not there. Okay. So this has to be in 01 and 02. So let me add 0 to that. Date format. So calculation one plus 0. Or this has to be in the front. Included 0. So why am I adding 0 is, so date and date format, you need to have 01, 02, 03 like that. So in that way only Tableau identifies that. So that's the reason I have added this 0. So now let's create date format and use this included 0 and click on apply. Date format. Okay, let's just split this calculation one. Create split. So split based on first value. Okay, we will discuss this in the next session. So let's go to next other combinations. So to aggregate data, we use some min max functions which are available. So we have, let's say, if we take any calculation, sample superstore, if we take sales, so by default, you will be able to see sum as an aggregation. So if you want to convert any other aggregation functions, average, min, median, count, distinct, and all, so that you can convert based on your selection. So I can see average as well. So this is how we can convert. So that's about how to change the aggregations to filter some results. So we can use some of the functions to filter the results. So let's say customer name, and we can use starts with uh, and you can type in the customer name, comma, so whichever starts with A. So and you put this Boolean function in filters and select true. So whosoever starts with, I mean, whosoever name is starts with A, so only those customers will be shown the data. So if you remove this Boolean function, you will be able to see all the names. But if you use this one, so by using calculations, you can restrict the data. So that is one. And to calculate ratios. So we have created a profit margin calculation, which is sum of sales divided by sum of profit. So in that we can create different ratio calculations. And now we'll see, we have also created this calculation to categorize the data. So if sum of profit is greater than 0, that means, which is good. And if sum of profit is less than 0, that means it's bad. So in that way, we can categorize each and every value. So if you want to transform values in your visualization, then we can do some of the transformations. So if you want to do aggregations, or if you want to change the aggregation functions, or you want to calculate something multiplied with the different measures and all, so that in fact that we can do in calculations. So we can create new KPIs. So let's say you want to add two different KPIs, sum of sales plus sum of profit. So that you can do in these type of calculations that we can create in Tableau. So that is about how to use and why we use calculations. So we have basic calculations to create in Tableau, and we have these many functions. So in all these functions, we will use only 30 to 40, which are very important, like float, string, if statements, IIF statements, include statements, and all. So we will discuss about each and every function one by one in the coming sessions. And we have level of detail expression. So this is to create complex dashboards. So we have separately two sessions for level of detail calculations. So in which it will have majorly three functions: include, exclude, and fixed. Include, exclude, and fix. So these three functions are very important. So these are like out of the box calculations. And we also have table calculations. So I'll just give you a brief on that, how it works. Samples equals to, click on sales, and take order date and click on month. Yeah, so these are the values of the sales that are there, and click on this, go to quick table calculation and say running total. So when you say running total, what normally happens is, I'll show you. Yeah, so this is normal sales. So it has the value of January 2020, February 2020 in this. But in case of running sum of sales, what happens is, so it will store the 14,518 and it will add up the next month's value to this current month. February 2020 value will be added to the previous month's value. Same till the end of the December. At the end of the December 2023, you will have the total of that particular sum of sales. So that is the importance of running sum of sales, and there are many options that are available. So we will discuss each and every option in the next sessions. So as this is a brief introduction on how to create calculation fields and all, and if you double click on this, and if you want to see the calculation behind it, so it writes a calculation. So we have created it by just a click, but we can also write a calculation. So we have right clicked on this and clicked on running total, but in the back end it has written this calculation. So that's how we can create running sum of sales. And now let's create a new calculation field. So before going to start these things, so let me ask you a few questions. Hari, can you tell me what is the difference between TDSX and dot hyper? Yeah, it will store the data itself. Yeah, correct. Okay. Sandeep, can you tell me what is the importance of TBM? Oh, okay, no problem. Okay. So why do we use calculations? Yeah, correct. Yeah, great. Okay. Santosh, can you tell me what is the importance of TBM? Santosh, can you hear me? Okay. 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 So let's go to the next slide. Yeah. Okay. So now let's create a calculation field. IIF is not equal to 0. So this exclamation mark is nothing but not equal to 0. If sales is not equal to 0, then discount divided by sales. discount divided by sales. So this is also similar to our if function, but so it is a comprised version of if else statement. So normally what we write in this statement is if sales not equal to 0, so we use statement like then discount else sales and so what they have done is they are like if this is true, then whatever you put here that will be shown, and else statement is after this comma. So, in that way they have used it. Else zero. So this is the process. So now let's use this one calculation tool. Okay, so in that way we can calculate discount related information. So this is to calculate the discount ratio. So that's a new column that we have created. So how to use this IIF function is if this condition becomes true, then this discount divided by sales you will get. If sales is not equal to 0, then you will get 0 as the value. So in case of profit that you can see, so let's create the same calculation with profit. Profit. Just take subcategory in sales for profit. Take profit. So you have some negative values, right? And the calculation 2. Calculation 2. So let's just use sum before here. Let's write sum over here. And same goes here, sum of this one. Sum of profit. So if you change the aggregations, you need to put it again. Yeah, net and make it percentage. Click on format and put it percentage. Yeah. So in this way we can convert anything into IIF functions. Yeah. And let's go to new one. So new calculator field is added to measures. So let's only put that sales thing. Calculation tool, or you can just do Control Z. We can go back to the visualization where we had it before. Yeah. The calculation tool that we have used. Yeah. So this is to know how to use those calculation fields, and let's put whatever is there in the PPT. So they have used category, subcategory, and region. So put category in rows, subcategory in rows, and region in columns. So in this way, you can visualize 3 dimensions values and use calculation tool as well in colors. Okay. So with the colors, thickness of the colors, we can identify what is the value of the that particular discount ratio. So let's name it as discount ratio. Yeah. With that, we can identify discount ratio. That is about how to create this calculation and make use of discount ratio. And you can convert that calculation as well. So basically, whenever you drop any measure, so it will show you sum as the aggregation. And if you want to change the aggregation, so you can click on average. So that way also you can change it. So, and we can write one more calculation. So if sales is greater than 2000, then discount divided by sales, or else we can write it as a 0. So in that way, we can use different varieties of calculations and use it in the worksheet. Yeah. So that's about today's session. So in today's session, we have discussed about how to write the calculation fields and how to what is the importance of Tableau extensions, TWB, TWBX, TDS, TDSX on dot hyper. So yeah, so do you have any questions in today's session or from previous sessions as well? Okay. Okay, then we'll close this session for today. Okay, then. Thank you.